World War II demanded more than just courage and training from soldiers. It required resourcefulness, creativity, and honestly the ability to survive against impossible odds. Today, on After the Sirens, we're uncovering 9 survival hacks so secret that civilians never knew they existed. If you love history and want to learn real, actionable insights from the battlefield, this guide is for you. Make sure to subscribe and, leave a comment on which tactic surprises you the most. Soldiers used unconventional sources for food when rations ran out. When armies faced supply shortages, soldiers became masters of improvisation. They learned to identify edible plants, insects, and small animals in their environment, skills not included in standard training manuals. For example, in the Pacific Theatre, troops surviving on islands relied on coconut water for hydration and protein-rich crabs for sustenance. These survival strategies can still be applied today. Learning local edible flora or foraging responsibly can keep someone alive if stranded. Understanding what soldiers relied on under duress teaches us both resilience and resourcefulness. They used everyday items for hygiene when no facilities were available. Field hygiene was essential to prevent disease, but soldiers often lacked running water. They turned everyday items into cleaning tools. Soap, toothpaste, and even certain leaves were repurposed to clean wounds or maintain personal hygiene. Soldiers also improvised toothbrushes from twigs and cleaned clothes using ash or sand. Today, a survivalist can, replicate these hacks by keeping basic hygiene tools and learning to improvise with natural resources. It's an important lesson in adapting what's at hand, especially when the modern conveniences are, gone. Secret signaling techniques saved countless lives. Communication on the battlefield could mean the difference between life and death. Soldiers employed subtle hand signals, coded whistles, and even reflective objects to communicate without drawing enemy attention. Some units used mirrors to flash Morse code across distances invisible to opposing forces. The practical application here for modern enthusiasts is, understanding non-digital communication techniques in emergencies. Learning basic Morse code or visual signaling is a skill directly inherited from these wartime innovations. Improvised weapons and traps were common survival tools. Beyond firearms, soldiers created makeshift weapons and traps. For instance, items like empty cans, sharpened sticks, or hidden tripwires became tactical tools in guerrilla warfare or defensive ambushes. Civilians might never have known the ingenuity involved in turning ordinary objects into defensive solutions. Studying these examples provides insight into engineering basic survival tools in situations where standard equipment is unavailable. Clothing and gear were repurposed for camouflage and protection. Soldiers quickly adapted uniforms and supplies to suit their environment. Mud, leaves, and even captured enemy materials were used to blend into surroundings. Understanding patterns, textures, and color can really make survival gear much more versatile across different terrains. It's quite fascinating how these elements can help one blend in, no matter the environment. So, a practical step for enthusiasts today is, well, experimenting with layered clothing, natural dyes, or even camouflage techniques during wilderness survival exercises. These are skills, actually, drawn directly from historical practice. Navigation often relied on natural indicators instead of compasses. Soldiers simply could not always rely on maps or compasses, you see. They learned to read the sun, stars, and natural landmarks to orient themselves, which is quite remarkable, really. During those night maneuvers, they identified constellations and used subtle landscape features to navigate unseen. Modern survivalists can, adopt these techniques by practicing natural navigation skills such as identifying moss growth, water flow, and celestial positioning, which remain relevant when GPS is, unavailable. They mastered rationing and water purification with minimal supplies. Water was as critical as food, and soldiers often created purification methods with simple materials. Boiling water over makeshift fires, filtering through cloth, or using charcoal to remove impurities were essential skills. Likewise, rationing calories efficiently meant soldiers could survive days or weeks with minimal sustenance. These methods provide a direct lesson in prioritizing critical resources, an evergreen principle in both survival training and historical study. Stealth and evasion tactics kept soldiers alive behind enemy lines. Survival wasn't just about food and water, it was also about remaining unseen. Soldiers used terrain, silence, and even the timing of natural sounds to avoid detection. Moving at night or through dense forests was a deliberate and strategic practice. Modern survivalists can benefit by studying these tactics to understand how to move undetected, whether in urban survival scenarios or wilderness navigation. Finally, soldiers learned that mental toughness could be decisive. Keeping morale high, maintaining routines, and fostering camaraderie were as crucial as any tactical trick. Today's enthusiasts can apply this principle by preparing mentally for emergencies, cultivating self-discipline, and practicing stress management under simulated survival conditions. The human mind was a soldier's ultimate survival tool. These 9 survival hacks reveal how necessity drove incredible innovation during World War II. From foraging and water purification to stealth, signaling, and mental resilience, soldiers demonstrated a level of ingenuity that civilians could only marvel at. By understanding and applying these lessons, we not only honor their ingenuity, but also equip ourselves with skills that remain relevant in modern survival situations. If you found this guide insightful, subscribe to After the Sirens for more in-depth historical explorations. Comment below with the survival hack that fascinated you most, and share this video with fellow history enthusiasts. Dive deeper into the untold stories of World War II and keep the legacy of these incredible soldiers alive.